Welcome back to the Collector Chronicles YouTube channel. This is part 2 of my All-American Army Men series, vehicles. We're going to be looking at a bunch of vehicles today from a few different makers. This isn't all-inclusive. Right here in front of me is a Battlefront playset produced by MPC. You can see it says it has tank, weasel, exploding bridge, missile carrier, shooting cannon, personnel carrier, 2 jeeps and canopy, army truck, tents, barbed wire fences, drivers, soldiers, and accessories. So I got this playset actually at a model train show. And I think I got it for like 50 bucks. And it came with the vehicles you see here, which isn't really what it was supposed to include. So I got a bunch of vehicles from eBay and a few groups so I can complete the set. So just to give you a quick overview, this is the weasel that they talk about. Most of the MPC vehicles, which is the mainstay of this video, were some of the larger vehicles. They're actually pretty well proportioned for the men. This is a weasel with a recoilless rifle on it. They had wheels on the bottom that were, see? They came in different colors. Mainly they were the silver soft plastic tracks. And then they had these hard plastic wheels that were fairly brittle, and then they'd break a lot, as you can see. So these are still dirty and, you know, as in the played with condition. So this would be a self-propelled gun. I've actually seen it where they have it like this, and they have a shorter barrel, and it's a tank now. So in this configuration, it would be technically like a field howitzer or a self-propelled gun. You see how they'd have that little swivel in real life would hook on there. So a lot of times these barrels are missing. A lot of times the muzzle brake is missing. Another series that came with this was these Jeeps. This one right here is the MPC Jeep. I don't remember my uncle having this particular Jeep. As you can see, it had the beefier tires. It looks like it would have been like toolbox back here that was cut off, but all of them actually look like this. Then they had these canopies. They had a number of accessories that went with the Jeep. As you can see here, this one has got the windshield. Sorry, I'm windy today. This one's got the windshield intact. And the MPC ones had this M as, like, you know, multiple productions. I guess they're being clever. It's a pretty big Jeep. Another MPC Jeep, though, that I do remember my uncle having, and a lot of people may remember from back then if they had these Army Men, was these Jeeps. I actually kind of like these Jeeps, just the way they look. And they would have these guys that sat in them. Let's see here. So yeah, here's another weasel. These blue guys sat in there. And they had pegs underneath them so they could snap in. Now, I don't know why MPC made them in blue. Maybe because they figured that it would kind of stand out more, having a different color. I think these might have been multi-purpose because they just have like a shirt with pockets. So these could be like cowboy guys, just cast in different color, throw on a cowboy hat, and you got a cowboy. So that was your pretty much standard vehicle driver. Here's the MPC trucks. One thing I noticed when I bought this big grouping over here, which we're going to take a closer look at of all these extra vehicles, is that a lot of these MPC trucks and the bigger style Jeeps, they have these broken axles, where the axle doesn't go all the way through, like on this Auburn half track. It's kind of like an independent suspension. And when that breaks, you're pretty much screwed. So unless you could figure out some way of fabricating like a new axle or a set of axles, you've lost a wheel. And it looks like most of these, if not almost all of them, have a broken axle on them, usually in the rear. So here's the MPC. Once again, the personnel carrier truck has removable cover on the back. Got the M for multiple productions. Another thing that I took, we got the accessory or the so this Battlefront set. A lot of these vehicles and men would have come in like a bag with a header card. So you maybe get 1 or 2 vehicles at a time. This is, from what I understand, the main set that came with all this stuff. And you got men with the changeable accessories, which I'm going to save for a different video. So here's the instructions. It came with an exploding bridge. There's your Jeep with all the fixins. Came with barbed wire. Shows shows the cannon. And the cannon apparently shot little shells, actually. There's the personnel carrier, the tents. I guess the tents had these pegs on the bottom, which a lot of times were missing, so that the tent could, you know, be elevated, you know, up off the ground. So here's the cannon. Now this, like I said, there's other stuff that came with this that didn't belong. I think this is actually a Timmy Toys cannon, if I'm not mistaken. So here's the cannon. This is actually like a Civil War looking cannon. I think the proper cannon was this blue one. So MPC, you know, I'm not knocking them, I'm just saying they, you know, you got your modern field howitzer, you want a Civil War cannon, just give it Civil War wheels, boom, you got your Civil War cannon, problem solved. These cannons shot. And I guess the way they shot is it had like a spring-loaded deal with like a plunger on a track. And then you pull that back and then let it snap and then it'd shoot the shell out, which I think I have one of the shells. It just basically looks like a little plastic pellet. So I think you'd have to probably maybe lubricate that or something, or give it a new spring to where it shot again. So anyway, looking online, you can figure out when you do like a Google search of these play sets, kind of deduce what it actually all came with, and that's what I'm going to do to try to put this thing back together with the stuff that it came with. I'll probably cherry pick out of all these vehicles the right stuff. Here's the barbed wire sections. Not really sure. I guess you just, yeah, like a male and female ends and you snap together. I'm not sure how you do corners, but there's an extra barrel. Exploding bridge. I'm not really sure how that works. I guess it's spring-loaded and maybe it just ejects vehicles off the bridge or something. So, okay, yeah, they gave me... Okay, one thing that wasn't in the set that I got in the set off eBay was this thing here, which I don't remember my uncle having. This might be one of the more obscure vehicles in this MPC series. So as you got into like the 60s with warfare being more focused on like missiles and ICBMs and everything, you saw a lot of these missile themed stuff. Like these are missile launchers that are MPC, that like missile platform things that came in like a space set. Here's another version of it. The missiles that I do remember my uncle having in his stuff were these right here. And I think he had them in like a pine green color too. And I don't really have any rubber bands around the house, but what you do is you put a rubber band around here and then you loop it through here, and then that notch on the bottom, you hook it onto the rubber band and pull it back and then secure it around the corner. And all you got to do is just take your fingertip and flick it, and then that missile goes shooting off pretty far. So you can adjust, I guess, the tautness of the rubber band if you got kind of a loose, crummy rubber band with these. And I think there's like a peg, like with a T cross section that you can have to actually, you know, put it upright like a missile launcher. They're pretty cool. They actually do work. So, okay, there's the MPC vehicles. Here's that Auburn half-track. I don't have any Auburn vehicles besides this one here. My uncle had the tank. They had a personnel carrier. They had a pretty cool Jeep that had like a little driver wearing an overseas cap. So they had them in an olive green and more of like a pine green. This one somebody tried to paint. It's got a little guy on the 50 there. These are really good vehicles, actually. It says made in USA. Yeah, they're kind of rubbery feeling. I'm gonna clean this puppy up, maybe take some pictures of it and put it on Instagram. Here's a cannon that I got in a group of stuff on eBay. This thing's really heavy. It's like a field howitzer. I want to say maybe it's like Barclay or something. Might be Auburn. It's really heavy. A lot of these toy soldiers, they kind of transitioned from lead toy soldiers of the 40s, and then they would use the same molds and make these plastic and rubbery toy soldiers, and that's kind of the evolution of the American toy soldiers. So, okay, what do I got here? Personnel carrier. This is the same scale as like a Marks personnel carrier for the Navarone. This is a more obscure brand called Giant. These came with like HO size, or like 187th or whatever, 176, whatever, small scale Army men. It's got a little driver in there. Apparently each of these little compartments had like a guy in there, like with machine gun and stuff. They made a tank that fit in there. And I think a lot of these had were more associated with like comic book toys. All right, so we're gonna walk over here. I'm gonna unhook my camera there. All right, so what do we got here? We got I think this is Ideal. It had like maybe a set that had some kind of a trailer. Here's a Peyton, hard plastic, like bomber, 50s looking. All right, so we got the vehicle lining up. We got the personnel carrier, which would have went in the set. It's got the drop-down door that a lot of times is missing. Had the door there, and it had like the tools in the back, like the Pioneer tool, the shovel, and the axe and everything. And then that would have had a antenna on it, I think. And then it would have had a 50 caliber, which, as you can see, the post is broken off there. So a lot of times those accessories are missing. You can see the different colors on plastic, more like a pine green. This tank, or this Jeep, looks pretty similar to the big MPC. This might be like Timmy Toy or Tootsie Toy or something. I don't see any markings on it, but it's different. Got a bunch of the MPC. I always thought they were like lowrider kind of looking Jeeps. This Jeep is a mystery. It's not damaged at all. It's kind of soft plastic, more of an olive green color. Maybe somebody in the comments can tell me what it is. It's got metal axles. Pretty dirty. I'll clean that one up. Looks like maybe it had like a machine gun mount in the back. Okay, here's a red Jeep. Now this Jeep, I saw they did a Fortress Assault re-release of a lot of these vehicles in the 90s, and it had this Jeep in green. And it has all kinds of accessories. It has like a spare wheel. I think it had like a jerry can back there. Like the hood is actually on a hinge. It's missing all that though. This one's red. It might have been for like a fireman, fire brigade type of playset. So there's the missile carrier, Civil War probably, cannons. This Jeep here is pretty cool. I've never seen this before. It's like a really cool blue color, and the guys are yellow. This might be for like a farm playset, or maybe a like a space type of deal. They figured just, you know, put it in spacey bright colors, and then they got your space thing. This here is I was talking about the carry-all playsets. This is one of the Marks. It's a carry-all Cape Kennedy, like a Cape Canaveral type of deal. I think they had a Cape Canaveral. So it folds out, and then you have your playset right there. That's empty. I got that like at an antique mall years ago. So somebody told me to put some of the different poses up. I'm moving furniture around, so I got this room cleared out for a few days. So here's a bunch of horses and everything. I think those cowboys, and I think the Indians are like MPC, Timmy Toy. We got your couple MPC Germans, MPC Japanese, little MPC vehicle, mini vehicle. You got your MPC Civil War, some kind of like Hong Kong or Taiwan. Cowboys and Indians are more modern. Timmy Toy Cowboys and Indians. MPC Americans in different colors, sparkly blue. Americans, like the bigger size Americans, that are like more of a like a royal blue. MPC Cowboys, MPC Indians. My uncle made the comment that he always thought this guy had like a fish in his hand, like, hey, you know, you bring a fish back to the camp, you know, and it's actually most likely a scalp. So a little bit graphic there. So okay, we got over here, we got the Archer Spacemen, the unidentified Stratofortress crew. I think these guys, I figured out they're probably Lido, early Lido. There's a paratrooper. Right here we got some more. Those were probably from the Marks Training Center. Those rubbery looking guys. There's like a paper boy. That guy looks like a West Point cadet or maybe a Marine Corps guy. Those poses there, the chubby face guys. These flat ones, I never really figured out what they are. Those two big old pine green guys are Auburn rubber. Pretty sure the service station guys Auburn rubber. This early hard plastic Cowboys Lido. These electroplated ones are Lido also, but sometimes they crackle and they get all messed up like that. I don't know what happens to them. These two are in good shape. These are kind of checking out. The guy with the binoculars, I don't know what he goes to. This is like a Spirit of 76 looking Piper guy. I think they had like the President series too. They got your firemen. These are some kind of maybe Lido Cowboys and Indians. I think that's a Lido cavalry guy. Marks for Apache guys. Modern Timmy, old Timmy toy. And I think these are like Tootsie Toy or Plasticraft or something. And then you got your Timmy Toy armored car that was in the 80s, and I think they might still make them. So that's about everything. Got them all laid out there. So on a more serious note, there's a message from the men of this outfit. A big thanks for all the views, all the subscribers, and all the comments. So, thank you, and I'll see you in the next video.